Guys, welcome back to another Big Owl's Big Weapon video, and I'm shaking my knife at you, aren't I? I've just noticed that's not the best thing to do. Right guys, so what I have in my hand here is a hunting bowie, which I use on a daily basis. As a result, because it's used daily, it's sharpened regularly, and it's cleaned daily. And it's preserved with oils and to stop it rusting and things like this. Now this whole process of cleaning it and oiling it and sharpening it and stuff like that can actually over time cause pattern welded steel to lose its pattern. Now what do I mean by that? Well, luckily for you, I actually have with me a Christmas present that I've bought my mother-in-law, which I haven't wrapped up yet, so I'm going to take advantage of it whilst I've still got it. But just to show you, the camera does struggle somewhat to pick up the patterns because of the lighting in here, but if I just shine a light on there, you can see quite clearly the beautiful pattern along the steel of this weapon, and that shows that this weapon here, unless it's been faked, which there are fake pattern welded blades out there, this isn't, this is real, but it shows you that it's been pattern welded, and it's been pattern welded with what I think is called the hurricane pattern. There are different patterns that are used. I believe hurricane is used as one of the terms to describe the particular pattern on this blade, and as you can see, it is gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's very similar to the beautiful patterns that you get on the edges of Japanese katanas and other Japanese swords, and it's done in a no, it's not done in the same process, it's completely different, but the end result for the aesthetic purposes is very similar. Now, in contrast to this had a different style of pattern on it. It's been folded differently to that blade that I've just shown you. It had more of a linear pattern on it. And it still does have a linear pattern on it. I can see it in the naked eye just about. I can see where the steel has folded over itself. But if I show you now, you can't see, not on camera, as I say. You can in the naked eye, but on camera, you cannot see that pattern. And the pattern obviously has significantly diminished because it used to be as contrasting as that. And this is something I didn't know when I first bought pattern welded steel, that the pattern over time can go. I thought it would be permanent, and to some degree it is permanent. It does last forever because the steel, as long as the steel has been folded over one another, it does last forever. But the colour gradient between the different layers of steel that have been folded over one another can decrease over time, especially with cleaning. Especially if you use a degreasant like WD-40, for example, on it, then the colour goes completely very, very quickly. Excuse me. I've just had the flu last week, guys, so if I have to apologise, I apologise if I have to stop and breathe for a couple of seconds every now and then. Also, I've just done a video on how to polish steel, so it's quite pungent in here, the smell of chemicals at the moment. But what I'm going to do now in the rest of this video is I'm going to teach you or show you a process that I learnt from a smith on how to bring that pattern back. Now, I've not done it myself before, so I could do this and it could ruin my blade. But the smith that taught me also taught me the process on how to buff out and polish out scratches out the blade, which is a video I've just filmed, and it did it remarkably well. It did it within literally a couple of minutes. I got rid of all the scratches off this blade, because this blade was covered in scratches, because I use it on a daily process to cut up meat for my dog, and I cut up bone and everything, so it's put through a hell of a lot, this blade. This blade really has proven itself as a high quality steel blade. That's one thing I will say, pattern welded steel is really high quality. It's cut through bone, meat, offal, everything, and it hasn't even got a dent or a scratch on it. It hasn't lost its edge in any way whatsoever. Even though I've sharpened it because I wanted it sharper than what the manufacturers gave me. But other than that, I would never even need to sharpen it. It is a wonderful blade. But as I say, it had scratched up a little bit. Most of the time, because when I've taken whetstone on it, I've slipped with the whetstone, and the whetstone itself has scratched the blade. It's not actually the bone that scratched it. But nonetheless, the smith who taught me that has also taught me this process on how to get the pattern back. And so what we'll do is we'll hopefully get the pattern back for you now. Now, I don't know how long this will take. It might take half an hour. I'm going to film all of it for you guys, okay? But what I'll do is I'll put it on fast forward at a 10 times pace for you guys for when I'm doing the boring bits. That way you can see what I'm doing, but you're not sat there watching me half an hour and do the same laborious shit again and again. Okay. So the first thing to do is health and safety. Okay. What we're going to be working with is acid. Okay. We're going a form of acid. Okay. Whenever acid is used, you've got to take certain precautions to protect yourself, because acid can burn skin and it can blind you if it gets in your eye. So first of all, you make sure you've got gloves, because that's what's mostly going to be handling the acid. So you need to protect your hands as best as possible. It's only a weak acid, guys, don't worry. It's not going to be face melting properties or anything like that. If it does spill, it's not going to do major damage, but we still have to protect ourselves as if this is like pH 1 kind of shit, you know. The other thing is, which if you haven't got, guys, do not do this. Please do not do this unless you have them. Safety goggles. I got these safety goggles as part of with my crossbow. So these safety goggles are used to protect against crossbows when they malfunction, if the string snaps, to protect you against that. So these are very, very strong safety goggles. And then what I've got also is a rebreather mask. Okay. Now, masks like these are very, you might think, oh, how the hell do you get hold of one of them? They're sold in all builders' depots, okay, that I know of. Homebase, B&Q, trade areas for builders and stuff. Because these are used by, this is just used by, I think, plasterers typically. People who are working with things that give off fumes, or, you know, people like carpenters, especially if they're sanding wood, they don't want to breathe in the small pieces of wood. This is what these masks are used for. They're not majorly, like, they're not going to stop you. They're not like gas masks. They're not going to protect you against poisons and shit like that. But they'll do the job against something like this. Okay, so the next thing is a mask. Now, obviously, as soon as I put that on, guys, I'm going to have to stop talking. So I'm not going to put it on quite now. I'm going to describe the process to you, and then of course I'm going to show you, and hopefully it works. And what I'll do is, after I go for the fast forwarding bit where the video is going really quick, I will show you how the end results look, and I'll talk you through the hiccups that I had, whether it worked, what bits I found were good, which bits I found were bad, okay, and how I'd possibly improve on it in the future if it needs any improvement. Excuse me, that was dirty. So the first thing you need after you've done your protection is always the first thing, is to get yourself a bowl, which will be off site here, okay, because I've got to put it on a flat surface, so I'm going to put it over there. As you notice, my sofa where I'm sat is covered in old rags, dressing gowns, old clothes and stuff, because I don't want to damage my sofa, and the same has been done with the carpet underneath me. So any spillages will not damage anything expensive, so cover your shit, basically. In this bowl, I will be pouring a mixture that I'll be going over in a minute of white vinegar and ferric chloride, which is very easy to get your hands on. Okay, I forget what else it's used for. It's used in a major process, but it's very easy to get your hands on. Okay, you can just go on eBay and buy it. Okay, now what you'll do is you must, and this is very important, you first of all need to put, it's an equal mix of 50-50, a 50-50 mix of white vinegar, which is here, okay, and this ferric chloride, okay. You put the white vinegar in first, that's the most important bit. You do not, under any circumstances, put ferric chloride in first, because you can actually get like a splashback, a throwback, if you put the in the wrong way around, and you don't want to get it all over you, because even though it's not going to probably burn you or damage you, the last thing you want is to get it into your eye and cause a little bit of damage or anything like that. And we are treating it as a strong acid, even though it's a very weak acid. We are treating it as a proper acid. Okay. Once you've made the mixture in here, as I say, you pour, say if you pour 100 mils of malt vinegar in, white vinegar in here, you pour 100 mils of ferric chloride, okay? Or if you pour 50 mils of white vinegar in there, you pour an equal amount of ferric chloride, okay? And you let that mix, okay? It won't take long. You then take a cloth, a white cloth is what I was told to use. okay, because obviously I assume if you have anything that's not white, the colour of a cloth might actually run into your blade, which is not something you're going to want. Okay, so you take a white cloth, you put it into the mix, okay, you soak it, and then you wipe your blade, and you wipe your blade for as long as you need to. There's no time period that I've been given on it. The smith said you just keep wiping it until the pattern comes to the level that you want. The longer you wipe it, the darker the pattern's going to get, okay? So what I'm going to do is, with trepidation, because I've never done this before, okay, I'm going to mix in the two compounds, okay? So this is the vinegar, and I'm just trying to think, is a better way of me doing it. I'm just going to pause the video for 1 second, guys, if I can, because I want to get something that can measure out exact volumes, okay? So that's one oversight. I'll just... Oh, okay then, guys, so I'm back. So get yourself a basic measuring jug, preferably made out of glass, because I don't know how these things can interact with different types of plastic and things like that. So glass is very resistant to the majority of chemicals out there. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I don't need to put my mask on for this bit. I'm going to measure out, I'm going to try and use the minimum amount possible, but if I need to do more, I'll re-pour it out. But I'm going to add 50 mils of white vinegar, okay, into the bowl. Yeah, this is a good thing that I've done that, because the bowl's not going to hold much more than 100 mils. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that over there on the flat surface, and then now I'm going to add my my ferric chloride. Now I'm going to do the rest of this with my mask on, because I don't know what the fumes are like of ferric chloride, and I don't want to take no chances, if that's okay, guys. So you're not going to hear anything from me now, and I will start putting the video on fast forward where possible, where appropriate, and I will talk to you once the process is done. Thank you for watching this, guys, and as I say, I will talk to you soon. Anyway. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Right then, guys, so there we go. I've brought the pattern back. I've left it in the ferric chloride perhaps just a wee bit too long, so it's gone quite dark for the steel, but I wanted to bring the pattern back, which on this blade, as I say, is nowhere near as pretty as the blade over there that I showed you, the other hunting barry that I've got. But I know that obviously the pattern on this, it fades very, very quickly, and so what I've done is I've brought it back quite a bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go polish this blade now and get it up to full standard for you, and then show you the end result. But just to show you for now, there we go, guys. Look, so if I bring you into better lighting, there you go. You can see the pattern is there. It's just a bit messy at the moment. You can see the pattern is starting to come back, before it had none of that. You couldn't see any of it on camera, no matter what lighting I held it up to. So you can see the pattern is coming back. It's dirty and horrible looking at the moment, but actually as that fades, that's starting to look to the eye, it's actually starting to look really, really cool, very tactical looking. But what I'll do is I'll give this a good polish now and then show you what it looks like afterwards, okay? Guys, so this is the finished look. As you can see, the pattern is a lot more visible than it was before. I mean, literally before you couldn't see it at all. You could just about see it to the naked eye, and I mean the camera's still struggling to pick it up as much as the naked eye on here anyway. So what you see here is it's almost like a shadow of what you're getting, what I'm seeing at the moment when I look at it. But I don't know why the camera won't pick it up very easily. It doesn't like it, but you can see here now on here. I've come outside because the natural light just shows it off that little bit better. Don't worry, it doesn't bias the results. The fact that I showed you the blade before and you know, inside, and now I'm showing it outside. I've actually done a video, but I'm going to edit out of this of me filming the blade inside, because it just took me a while to get the angles right to try and show you the lighting correctly. But there you go. You can see, if I can hold it up like this as well, you can see just how much the pattern has come back out of the blade. Hold it at different angles. Looks different from different angles, you see. Now this pattern on this blade is much more subtle than the one that I've got my mother-in-law, which is as I say, more like a, I think it's hurricane pattern, I think it's called. This is a linear pattern, and linear patterns are notoriously hard to get out and to show off. It's only where you get the ripples there where it becomes very obvious. The subtlety of it, though, was in some ways why I liked it. I liked the subtlety of the pattern. But regardless, I want the pattern coming out. So that's a success. I think maybe the process that I did needs a little bit of refining, because it's, you know, it's not 100% perfect. Let's see if I can get the it's hard without stabbing myself. If I can get I don't know if you can see the guard pattern there as well. The guard pattern's come out lovely. But overall, very, very happy with those final results. And I'll see you soon, guys. But that's exactly how you get out your final your Damascus pattern or pattern molding patterns out of your blade once they finally degrade. Lovely. Nice one, guys. See you soon.